The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Did you miss us? We're back, and I'm not sure Dave's had a better backdrop than he's ever had than right now. It is a Monday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book, the same on Twitter, X, and replayed on Sports Grid Television and Sirius XM channel 159. You guys who are watching on replay, yes, this is an actual replay. It's a live show, but we're back, and it's content you haven't heard before yet. No more replays on the replay. Dave, everyone's going to ask, I'm going to ask you out of the gate, where the hell are you?
I'm in Bradenton, Florida. It's good to see you. I really can't see you right now because of the way the glare is hitting off the camera, but I know you can see behind me. That's the pier, the river walk down there. If you guys could see what's on the other side of me, you wouldn't believe what is going on at the swimming pool right over there. So if I get distracted, you know why. Spring training, it's awesome. Florida has been great. We're hanging out in Bradenton right now. I spent the weekend up in Tampa at the Hard Rock. Saw a guy about a thing. We got people in Florida. It was really fun. My favorite thing about today, which we'll do at the end of the show, little BvB Brigade meetup. P-Roll, we got people in Florida that are ready for us to come down and do a show.
Hell yeah. I was loving the PB meetup. That was tremendous to see him, but it wasn't just PB, right? It was more than that you saw, right?
PB brought his wife, Fran, and Jackie, big fan of the show, Cleve fan on the socials on Twitter. She's got you think I know where the bodies are buried. She's got the offshore stuff from back in the day. She lives down here now, originally from Cleveland, still a Browns fan. It's always fun when you're out with people. PB had his Patriots stuff. She had her Cleveland Browns stuff. I had the Pirates hat. It was great. We hung out, talked, shared stories. Got some feedback for the show, which was good. It's always good to get feedback, which you guys want. If you like the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Send an email to askthebvb@gmail.com. Just go to the website, thebvbshow.com. Join the Discord. That's how people start meeting, exchanging numbers, information. Meetups are happening tonight.
They are.
There's going to be more here in Florida. We'll see what happens. We're on the lookout for a couple of friends of the show that also live down here. We got an odyssey ahead of us for the next 7 days. So we'll be hopefully, I don't know when next. I don't know if we're doing a show tomorrow. I got to see about driving and all this other stuff. P-Roll, I forgot how far everything is when you live in a place other than Vegas.
Right.
Like they're like, yeah, we're just going to go over here, and you look, and it's like that's 48 minutes if there's no traffic. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. I'll pick them up and drive them back. Sure. So, yeah, it's been pretty wild. I upgraded the car rental, though. You'd be pretty proud of me. I got an Audi Quattro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
which one?
nice little SUV premium.
Quattro's the engine. So was it Q5, Q3, Q7? What'd you get?
The SUV one, the premium SUV was the category. The guy was
How big is it?
Not three rows.
Q5. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Audi Q5 is what you have. It's
Drives
nice.
pretty good. Yeah.
It's my grandfather's car.
That's pretty good.
Amanda drives the Q7. She drives the bigger version of it. That's her vehicle.
You know, she's making it. I'm just happy to rent it for the week. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So it's a nice car. It rides well. It's it's definitely something fun to tool around in for the week. Are you going to be at all, like, what's the sunburn standard for you on this week? Like, what scale are you going to go to? Because you're going to be outside a ton. And yes, we live in Vegas, but this is Florida sun right now. Are you dealing with, I mean, because Amanda's burnt to a crisp. She was there for 3 days and she's completely toasted.
Well, yeah, but I wear to 30 minimum. So
Good.
I'm out and about. Now, tonight we got a doubleheader and it's a night game. So I won't have to worry about it. And then tomorrow's night game. And then the rest of the week might be some day games. Jess is a veteran and also burns pretty easily. So she'll be in the shade. Kendall will get some sun. We'll have beach time. Listen, I love the sun. I learned very quickly, though, when I was in Curacao, the sun is dangerous if you let it be. So I don't play with the sun. I will be caked on, serious. I need some of them long sleeve T-shirts. Is actually what I need now that you mention it.
Okay.
I should have gone down to see Amanda.
Yeah, she would take care of you.
I need those things. Those are good.
How far away are you from from Boynton Beach? Look it up.
No, I'll have to Google it after we
look how far away you are, because that's where the Nomad Surf Shop is where her sister's surf shop is.
All right.
In Boynton Beach, which is right there. How is the humidity? Yorkie says it's killing you.
I swear, every time I go away from Vegas, I love Vegas even more. It is so you forget, just like everything feels different. When you walk into a restaurant, there's a little bit of a feel like, Jessica got here. I picked her up, brought her to the hotel at the Hard Rock. She walked in and said, it's muggy in here. I said, it's really not. But she's like, no, it is, because it's not at all in Vegas. It's so dry. So it hasn't rained yet, but like 2 days ago was super cloudy the whole day. And everywhere that we walked, there was like sweating going on. So it has that feel. I don't mind it though.
It's
like my body feels great. I have some movement in like, I feel good. So I'm not worried about it. But yeah, there's some people that I'm with that aren't happy about it.
Okay. I love you guys. You guys notice everything. Sonic, yes, I moved everything to the right. Literally doctor's orders. I've been told after my physical that I have to move everything, because everything was left. Everything I've been doing is all been on my left. Now everything goes to the right. So normally you guys see me looking to the left. Now I'm looking to the right. So everything is my right, your left. Everything is that way now. That's doctor's order. So just FYI, when you see me looking that way now, that's why, because he took one look of my spine and everything else and said, you're cockeyed. Like you gotta start doing everything the other way, because as you get older, this is not going to be good for you with how much time you spend sitting down. So
I can tell you that, listen to that guy, because I'm listening to the ants, and she has that exact problem because she's been looking to her one way with her monitors for 30 years. And now her L thing is curved, and then she's dealing with some major back pain. So look left, look right. Don't look one way all the time.
It's always good, right? It's always good to not look one way all the time. Looking both ways is always smart.
Always.
Fellas, remember, we are going to be in Kentucky in a little over a week. We will be live from Circus Sports Kentucky at the Mint in Franklin, Kentucky. The airtime is probably somewhere around 2:00 Central. We're going to confirm with that later on today or early tomorrow, and have it for you guys later this week for a guarantee. But we're going to be there for sure, watching the SEC tournament on Wednesday. The games begin very early in the day. You have 2 games early, 2 games late on Wednesday, and then you have the quarterfinal games on Thursday in Nashville. So if you're going to be in the area, come on up, make the trek up. It's only about a 20-minute, 30-minute drive from downtown Nashville up across the border to Franklin. So it's not like we're going deep into Kentucky. If you're going to fly into Nashville, it's just a quick little 30-minute drive straight to the north up to Franklin from the Mint. So looking forward to seeing a bunch of you guys. Looking forward to seeing our friends. I mean, I can't tell you, Dave, I got like 4 or 5 different DMs from Kentucky people who are going like, are you guys really coming to Kentucky? I'm like, yeah. They're like, we're going to be there. We're all going to show up. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
We hope to see all you guys coming with us on the 12th of March here. I can't believe it's already the 3rd of March, but in less than 10 days, we're going to be live from Circus Sports in Kentucky, and we'll have guests and we'll have all sorts of fun stuff. So if you're going to come, just try to be there around lunchtime, and you'll see us be there, and you can hang out with us. And who knows who's going to stop by, Dave. It should be an interesting show.
I'm not sure what's going to happen Tuesday night. There's going to be apparently some people are coming in, so they're ready for the show on Wednesday. But the Tuesday night meetup might end up getting a little crazy for some of you. You know, we got to do the show, so it's not like we can be out all night. But hopefully Wednesday,
it's Kentucky though.
The show.
We gotta. You know, it's whiskey time. We gotta.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what
we'll see.
Time. But Wednesday night, we got the games, and we'll hang out as much as they'll let us at the Mint. And you know, we're going to use local knowledge. I mean, you guys have a place to go. We'll have wheels. We'll be ready to go. So I can't wait. We'll do like a roll call Wednesday. I'm sure one of the fun things that we've done with the on location shows is that, you know, hopefully we have the setup and a microphone where you can sit down, look at the camera, say your name, say your handle, so everybody can see what you look like. Because I mean, I got to be honest, I saw this PB in person, and I mean, he's a model. The guy's a model in person. I mean, he looks good. He's been on the show, and you know, it was fun. It was so those are a lot of fun, and you know, hopefully we're going to be able to do that a little bit more. You know, we're following that up with Resorts World.
The whole week. Whitrock's coming in on Tuesday, staying till Friday.
Yep. That's what's happening.
He's coming in. He's going to stay for a while. That's going to be tremendous. That's exciting. And yeah, you mentioned the fact that we're going to be the very next week. We're going to be at Resorts World coming up on the 20th and 21st. That is in Las Vegas for us for the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. That is Thursday, Friday from Red Tail Lounge. Time to be determined, but probably similar to this type of time, you know, somewhere around noon, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern time for a live start for us. Red Tail Lounge doesn't open till later, so they may push us a little bit later into the day to start. But 2 shows, Thursday and Friday. You guys can come in and be a part of it at Resorts World for us at Red Tail Lounge for the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. So if you can't get to Kentucky, come to Vegas, be a part of it. The very next week, we'll be live. I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've done shows in 2 cities in back-to-back weeks. I think that's going to be a first for us to be out of the studio for both back-to-back weeks, right?
I think you're right, yeah, because when we come back from the Super Bowl in years past, we come back to home studio.
For a while.
And when we went to Chicago, we came back. So, yeah, we went, you know, Chicago to Vegas, Breeders' Cup, San Diego, back to Vegas. So, yeah, this will be back-to-back weeks in remote locations, which is great. I mean, this is fun. Once you figure out the setup and you test the mics, and let's roll. I mean, it's a blast. And the meetups are what really makes it, no question.
Yes, we look forward to seeing all you guys either in Kentucky, in Nashville, or here in Las Vegas coming up during the month of March. And you know, someone in the chat just said it. It's March Gladness. You're right, Tyrone. This is a ton of fun. This is an awesome month. It's a super, you know, really from starting right now all the way until the end in the beginning of April. Really, we just have, and then the Masters hits. I mean, this is a really fun 6-week stretch where you have college basketball, and then you get the Masters right into that, and then you get into some late season NBA and late season NHL. So the dead period, if you will, is over for everybody, and we can really rock and get into some fun games and things that happen over the weekend. So let's talk about that. Let's get into this Kansas story because it's one that I found to be quite interesting. So KU got killed over the weekend against Texas Tech. That's no surprise to anybody who's been watching Kansas over the last couple of weeks.
They were favored by 4.5 points.
Made no sense. Absolutely made no sense. Texas Tech is a legit top 15 in the country. Kansas is unranked and rightfully so. And then Zeke Mayo went to social media and started to share screenshots of things that were said to him after the game. And they were awful. They were racist. They were disgusting, vile, awful messages written to him about what happened. But the athletic director for Kansas decided to turn it into a gambling problem and said that basically these are gamblers who are doing these things, who are saying these things. And without any real evidence that it was gamblers, or it was a chance to highlight his opposition to Kansas and then now Missouri going legal. But Dave, I've been covering KU basketball for a while. I worked in Omaha. I worked in Des Moines. I worked in Kansas City. Like the idea that KU fans are vile or mean or write nasty things to KU players when they lose, it had nothing to do with gambling. And yet it feels like gambling is now just the easy shot that whenever something negative happens, it must be the gambling.
It's the social media. Like the ability for everyone to get their comeuppance or, a means to get a message to this person. It's the social media. It's not the gambling. And I mean, it's easy to blame the gambling, but they did this with like fan behavior at games. Fan behavior is bad at games. It has been for decades before the gambling was legal in other places other than Nevada. And just for the record, gambling has been going on since the 1920s. So you can't blame the gambling now because you see ads for it all the time and it's available on your phone. It's been available to gamblers for the longest time. Now, maybe more people are doing it, but between, alcohol, between I just a lack of respect of just people. The stuff that people say is bad enough. The stuff that people send in social media messages is 100 times worse because there's no repercussions. That's the problem, right? Like you got to get repercussions if you're going to send this stuff. Did you agree with him putting it out publicly?
I don't mind it. I don't mind to say like, hey, this is what KU fans are saying to me. What happened?
You there? Oh, no,
I'm
you
there.
flashed. All right, good.
We're good? Yeah. So I mean, to me, I had no problem with Zeke Mayo putting it out and kind of showing what he was dealing with from KU fans. But KU fans have been doing and saying these things either on talk radio or on chat boards and message boards forever. Like this is nothing new for a Kansas team. This is the worst Kansas team under Bill Self. The players don't fit together. The offense looks completely lost. They can't stop anybody. Kansas cannot guard anybody. And they got a game tonight with Houston where KU currently is a 6 seed, according to Joe Lenardi and bracketology. That's insane. And they're a 9.5 point dog tonight at Houston, where Houston's already wrapped up the Big 12. This game doesn't matter for Houston, and yet the number is 9.5 here. KU stinks. Like, at the end of the day, that's the problem. It's not the fans. It's not the gamblers. It's that Kansas basketball stinks this year.
There's a lot of teams that are in Kansas's boat where the fans are upset with expectations not meeting actual results. So, I mean, it's just I can't believe they're a 6 seed. That really, really surprised me that you said they're a 6 seed because if their name wasn't Kansas, they would be debated about just getting in at all.
Agreed.
Like there's a real question whether they should be in the field, let alone a 6. See, I mean, maybe a 9, like that would be fair. Maybe. I don't know. I saw that line, and again, it's just human nature when you're in this business as long as I am, and you're around, and I check the lines every day, even if I'm not doing anything. And I saw that line and was like, what? Who's asleep? Like, this can't be. This game should be a pick 'em, and then let them, bet Texas Tech to the favorite. The line was 4.5, and went to 5. Like, that was the wannabe wise guy play. Yep. Like, let's take the home team against a ranked team. No. Kansas is not that team. So the whole thing's unfortunate as far as what you got to deal with. But, man, it's you can't blame the gambling. That's 100%. It's not the gambling, especially like with the college stuff. Like the college props aren't a factor for most people, although – the kids in Fresno were definitely betting on that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more people doing it on sites like that than I think, which I guess is possible. Do you think there's more of that, like on the Prize Picks and the Underdogs and the Sleepers stuff, those companies where they're betting on college props? College kids are betting on college props?
It's getting to be the point where I'm sort of going to get egg on my face by saying this because I don't think that that's happening dramatically, but we're now up to 7 different schools that are under scrutiny for some level of impropriety, whether it be betting. I mean, Fresno State kids are claiming they bet on themselves, like they bet on their overs, which I guess if you're talking about a college kid, he probably would more inclined to say like, oh, 11.5, I'm scoring more than 11.5. And so they would maybe bet on themselves to go over, but it's far easier to go under than it is to go over. Yeah. So like, that's my only, like, I don't know if I believe that story from the Fresno State kids that they're claiming that they were betting overs, not unders, but it's happening probably more than I want to think, but I don't think it's widespread. Like, I don't think there's every team in America has got some kid that's betting or using some level of a prize pick type site to bet. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's that widespread. We talk about it on this show all the time. We overestimate the number of people betting in America. You know, I think we're overestimating the number of college kids who are playing college basketball too.
Yeah, I would think so. But again, it doesn't mean they're not doing it. I just know the vitriol that comes with it. The pros get it way worse. The pros, the NBA guys. I don't know if do you chirp a hockey guy for only getting 2 shots on goal when his over-under was 2.5? Like, do they yell at them when they go off the ice and say, you couldn't get one more shot on goal to get my parlay? I don't know. Do you take the time to send a guy like that a message or something on Insta? I don't know. But I know the NBA guys get it a lot because there's a lot more available. So, you know, there's so many props for NBA. I mean, I saw it here. This is a fun part of getting out of Vegas now is going to different states and seeing the menus. I mean, this menu at Hard Rock. Now, granted, the prices are caca, but the menus are. I mean, they have everything. They have. I think they're getting it either from Canby or Sport Radar, but they have tennis and soccer and golf. They have all these sports. I don't know who's betting it, but I know the menus were impressive.
Huh. What do you make of this game tonight? 9.5 for Houston at home. They don't need it, but Kansas on the road has been absolutely atrocious. I'm not betting it, but if Houston needed this game, I'd be all over laying the 9.5. But because they don't need it, I'm concerned about laying double digits.
I think Houston is playing for the number 1 overall seed every game.
They are. You're right.
I think I'm not really worried about them having a letdown, but I might be a little more worried about that than worrying about Kansas having the game of the year. What is they don't have the necessary requirements to make this an upset game spot. Like I don't think they're going to shot at winning the game. So it would have to be over double digits to even consider. There's the only way I would play this game would be Houston. You?
Yeah, I mean the first move was to Kansas, which was stunning to me. But then
course.
Again,
they bet them on
Kansas.
Saturday.
Yeah,
too.
they bet them against Texas Tech too. So yeah, it's the same. It's the same philosophy of like because it opened at 10.5, bet down to 9.5, and it's kind of sat there at 9.5. And I'm like, my gosh. I mean, if I was gonna bet it, I'd only bet Houston. I'm not betting Kansas. No way.
Right.
Like it's favored or nothing. You just walk in, and I haven't bet it for that reason. I want to bet it in game. I want to wait and see if I can get 6-5 somewhere in that range. If it's a slower start for Houston early, and then coming in and jumping in. Look at this, Bear Maulings. Where have you been? They got a baby in December.
I know.
How about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Bear Maulings just checking in. Missed you guys. Glad to see everything going well. Mrs. Maulings and I welcome to little Cub Maulings in December. So we've been super busy. Keep up the grind, BvB. How about that, sir? We've missed you. I wonder where you are. Drop me a DM and tell me where you're working these days. Are you back? What's going on?
He's down to one job, which is good.
Good.
And the second job is taking care of this little bear. It's pretty cool. I got the picture. Good to see you, Bear. Thanks for stopping in the show.
Yeah, that's great. Good to see you. That's very, very cool. Happy to see you. The one little unexpected thing this morning from Bracketology, 13 of the 16 SEC teams are currently in the NCAA tournament after Georgia killed Texas over the weekend. Dave,
Georgia might be
teams.
A problem in Nashville.
100%. 100%.
Georgia's going to cause somebody. Georgia's going to cause somebody a problem. I don't know if they're going to cost somebody a bid, but they're going to cost somebody a higher seed. They're dangerous,
They're going to
man.
push them. Yeah.
Yeah.
My best bet of the weekend was Georgia over Texas over the weekend. I think Texas is. I don't think they belong. Okay. I think if you're talking about teams that shouldn't be in the dance out of the SEC, Texas should not be in the tournament. Georgia should be in the tournament. Mike White's got those guys playing extremely well defensively, and their young kids are starting to step up and they're scoring the basketball. They couldn't score at all on the road. I mean, the game went over, so now they're 2-10 to the, or 10-2 to the under this year on the road. And they're now offensively, they've always been a defensive problem, but offensively they're now scoring, and they took Texas behind the woodshed over the weekend and beat the brakes off them. So, but 13 teams, Dave, of 16?
So
that's ridiculous.
Again, I feel vindicated that we're going to Nashville for the SEC tournament, because that's going to be by far the most anybody's getting in. And it's by far, I think, the most teams that I feel like can win it. Big Ten guys, relax. Still love the Big Ten. And yes, Duke is in the ACC, but they're the only team in that conference that can win it. Now, Big 12, I think, is Big 12 got a couple teams that may give some people a run for their money and may win it. But this is, who are the three teams that are listed out as of right now?
South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma.
Zero debate on all of them. Zero
Oklahoma
debate.
had a shot. I mean, Oklahoma had a shot to get in, and they've just played their way out. So I'm with you. Texas is the question, right? They're going to get 12. If you put Arkansas and Georgia in, and they both have had big wins late that kind of put them in, the question is going to be Texas. In Texas, according to Lenardi, Texas was the first team out as of this morning.
Okay, yeah.
So
well, I would say they are out. So I'll sign for 12. My number was
12 getting in.
Yeah, 11 or 12 is what we're going to end up with. Because somebody will steal a bid, right? Like we're getting. I mean, the Atlantic Sun starts tonight. Is that right? Oh my goodness, that's
tournaments. Yeah, I mean, we're getting into. I mean, the tournaments in Vegas start here on Thursday, and there's a lot of. I mean, college basketball tournament is here for these. And you're right, we could get a bid stealer, and if it is a bid stealer, if you're an Arkansas fan, if you're a Texas fan, you're a Georgia fan, you're hoping that we see this go to these one bid leagues, because Drake is. I mean, I already tweeted it out, and I'm already preparing myself to lose my mind in less than 2 weeks when the committee puts Texas into the tournament and they leave Drake out. Drake won the regular season. They had to go to overtime yesterday to win against Missouri State, but Drake has to win Arch Madness or they're not going to get an at-large bid. Their net rating is horrible, and they're a 24-win basketball team. Like they belong in the tournament, but if they don't win Arch Madness starting this weekend or Thursday, they're not going to get in.
Jeez.
And I'm going to lose my mind if Texas gets in over Drake, because Bradley has Drake's number. Bradley can beat Drake in St. Louis, and Bradley could steal the bid, and that would suck. I hope you're right, Joel, that Drake's in, but look at their numbers, Joel. Their numbers suck. They have got to win Arch Madness because the committee's not going to put them in. Just the way this thing is a invitational for the power conferences, and they're not looking to put Drake in.
Doesn't seem fair. And we're going to get to that point is going to be made. I don't know how many teams are going to be in Drake's position. Do they have – let's put it this way. I mean, going to ask the chat, you guys. I can't see the chat right now the way my setup is. Are there going to be other teams in this position where does Drake have a chance of losing that tournament?
100%. Oh, yeah. Bradley, Northern Iowa, Illinois State. Sure. Yes.
Wow.
Drake is not a lock to go to Arch Madness and win that thing.
That doesn't seem fair that the team can have that successful of a season and get, left out for the 13th or 14th best team in a conference that's really not that good. It doesn't seem fair. And we're going to expand this thing? Is this
Joel
real?
Omler? Joel said if they win 2, they're in. No team has been left out with 29 wins and 4 losses. You're going to need to go ahead and pull Missouri State out of Barry Hinson's record for me, Joel, because they were the old RPI. They were the lowest RPI team. No team in the 20s had ever been left out from an at-large bid situation until Missouri State got left out as a 29 in the RPI under Barry Hinson. And the guy was crying on CBS. He was legitimately, they had a camera on him, and Barry Hinson, and that's where that quote that I keep on coming back to, that the following Monday, he was on my radio show in Omaha, Nebraska, and he said, "We are the magic. We are what makes this thing special. When you leave out the little guy, you lose what makes the tournament so good." So Drake needs to be part of this field. Now, that goes right into the NCAA commissioner saying that there is no immediate change to the bracket coming. But he called men's basketball the deepest it's ever been. It's never been deeper, he said, and that there's more parity than ever in college basketball. If we have 13 teams from one conference and 11 from the Big Ten, is that accurate that we've got parity in college basketball?
I don't know. How are you defining parity? Because if you're defining parity by mediocrity, then okay, maybe. But if you're defining parity by the fact that a team in a conference like Drake can go and win a game or two in the tournament, a team like South Dakota State Jackrabbits get in and beat the team as a 12 against a 5 or whatever it is, then maybe that's a different measurement. I don't know if we need to see more games. I really think the bracket is perfect. I know I don't want more. I know I don't want to have to figure out some of these conference tournament brackets. Wes Reynolds is doing a great job of posting these geometry shapes of teams having a bye, double bye, triple bye. I mean, the West Coast Conference tournament, Gonzaga and St. Mary's don't have to show up until Sunday night. They play Monday. They play Tuesday and go home. That's it.
Yep.
2 games to win it.
Yep.
I don't know what that is. That's not really a tournament. It is for everybody else.
No.
But the Atlantic Sun starts today. It's a jigsaw puzzle trying to figure out game 5, game 6, game 7. I don't know if we're doing it justice. And the guy's selling it, right? More parity. Do you think there's more parity? I don't.
No, I don't. I think that there are elite teams in college basketball like there always are. But I don't believe that in terms of like the bracket itself, parity doesn't matter to me. I'm not looking for parity. I'm looking for you build a bracket to find out who the best team is in college basketball. That's the point of it. So the idea is, well, there's so many more teams that could make a difference. No, that's not true, because there's teams that are not good that are from the Big 12 or from the Big 10 that are going to get into this conference, get into this tournament. They're not going to make it a better event. You say, oh, well, look at the first 4, the UCLAs, the VCUs, the teams that played in Dayton and wound up going to the Final Four. Okay, but that's few and far between. I don't want to change I don't want to change the entire contest because 2 teams did it. Over the course of 50 years, 2 teams have figured it out and done something special and made a run like that. So that's my frustration with it. They've already made up their mind. They're just trying to figure out how they can sell it.
Well, it's going to create confusion, and it's going to create even more of a mess. I'd rather, like, this Vegas thing really had potential to me when I heard about it.
The Crown tournament?
Now, yes.
Okay.
Like, make that great, because that will provide an outlet for hoop heads to really enjoy more college basketball. It'll give teams run. Like, I went to the NIT championship in Vegas. It was fun. There was 1,800 people there. That's it. So nobody goes. Now, is that bad? Maybe. What are you trying to do? Draw a gate or draw interest? And the betting, again, is secondary, but it keeps it alive.
Right.
So if you have better games and better tournaments and more teams in it, I think that's better. So a secondary tournament with meaningful basketball, if it's for cash, make it for cash.
Right.
Those teams that came out to that thing in the fall when we went down and saw
players
Clayton
only,
play. Players only. That was
players
legit.
era. Yeah, players era. The players era tournament.
Players era. Yeah, that was legit. That was on TNT. I saw Lauren Jabara. They did a great job with the coverage. the teams came to play. Now, it's the beginning of the season, so it's a different mentality than maybe the end of the season. But, man, March college basketball is just different. It's great.
Well,
I don't want it watered down.
I agree. And I think you're right about the money, because that's the big fear about the Crown that everyone's talking about. They're saying that the teams that are going to get invited to the Crown will look nothing like the teams that are playing right now, because these kids are going to leave and they're going to go after the NIL money, and they're going to say, okay, I can go make X number of dollars by going into the transfer portal, and I need to start right now because it's a finite number of dollars that are going to be available. So I'm not going to play for Northwestern in the Crown tournament. I'm going to go play for, whoever else. I'm going to go transfer and go make that money. So the Crown tournament needs to look like the Players Era tournament. $1 million needs to be up for grabs. Like, we need a lot of money at the end of the rainbow for the team that wins it. And then I think you'll incentivize the players to keep going. Because look at the Players Era. In year one, it was good. It was small. They've expanded it, and now everybody wants in. Creighton's coming back. Creighton's going to play in it again because it was so good. So you're going to see more and more teams wanting to be a part of that, because the players are getting checks, and the checks cashed. That was the one thing that stopped teams from coming the first time, because they're like, oh, you're going to stiff us, aren't you? Like, you aren't going to pay us the money, are you? And they did. The money was deposited, and they literally showed receipts of the money being deposited to the team saying, hey, we paid everybody. We're good. So now it's exploding because they actually did what they said they were going to do.
And Creighton didn't even have a good result.
They played crap. They sucked.
Right? Like, they caught them.
Gas.
They caught them early in the season when I think they were still working out. Coach Mack was still working out rotations. And, they missed a lot of shots the first game when we were there and got behind. Yeah. And it was still a good experience. They spent the whole week here. They played Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I'd rather have, when we look back, and we always look at history and things like this, the NIT and the NCAA competed against each other until the colleges went all in with the NCAA. That's fine. But I think there's more of an appetite for good college basketball in a separate tournament than making it 78 teams that play. Half the teams play one game.
Right.
One game in a situation like that. What's the purpose of that?
Right. It's a great point. Duke plays tonight. They killed Florida State over the weekend, but Cooper Flagg got beat up. He is expected to play tonight because Duke needs to keep pace in the ACC to stay at top of it. You want to lay 19.5 points with Duke tonight?
I don't want the other side. I know that. I don't want the other side. Watching Duke has been kind of fun if you're a Duke fan. And I think
really good.
What he's talking about, the NCAA guy talking about parity and being deep, I think it's different teams are good, maybe for shorter amounts, okay? Duke has been good off and on for 30 years. Going back to when we were in college, Duke was good. And Duke is back. Like, Duke is good. Cooper Flagg is the real deal. They're blowing teams out. They're 5 for 5 in their last 5 games. It don't matter what you make the line. You're laying 22.5. You're laying 24. They're winning and covering these games because I think they're also playing for the number 1 seed overall. There ain't no chance I want the other side in that game today.
Yeah, Wake's playing for nothing. Duke's at home. And again, Duke's, look, as Louisville and Clemson are right behind them. They've got 2 losses. Duke's got 1. So they can't take their foot off the gas at all here over the next week. And they play North Carolina this weekend. So they end the year with their traditional game against the Tar Heels on the road. So they can't overlook anybody. They got to play. They may not cover this number, but the idea of them losing tonight would be somewhat surprising. Cooper Flagg,
is North Carolina in the tournament right now?
As of right now, they are, yeah. Okay. I don't know if I agree with it, but as of right now, they are. We'll see. And they beat Duke.
The brand names really have a nice head start on a lot of teams, huh?
Yeah, and Hubert Davis got locked up. That they signed him to an extension, so you can't even say that that there's just some question about whether North Carolina's going to have their coach or not. Like, he's been signed and locked up. So if they beat Duke this weekend, Carolina will be in the tournament. Now, that's a pretty tall task to beat Duke this weekend, but it's just crazy things in those rivalry. It's not nuts to say that Carolina might get Duke this coming weekend to punch their ticket. So we'll see. Good question here. Do you think Duke's schedule at the end of the year with not competitive games will hurt them in March? Well, the ACC stinks. So let's see what happens in the ACC tournament, Brian, because I think if the ACC tournament, if they play Clemson and lose to Clemson, you may have your answer. So Clemson and Louisville are the two best teams outside of Duke in the ACC. And then after that, there is a gigantic drop in talent in the ACC.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think Clemson is the biggest threat. I think
Louisville's quiet though. Louisville's
they are
15-2 in the ACC. They're quietly like lurking. Like no one's talking about them nationally. Like Louisville's not bad. Like I think it's
bad,
because
but I think in years past, Duke's question mark was with Coach K was how was the game going to be officiated for them? Because if they did get used, roughed up or they let stuff go in the tournament, that didn't bode well for them. I think Duke can win multiple ways when you watch them play, and they can dominate, which in the tournament, if you have an 8-minute stretch where you dominate and you outscore the opponent 18-2 or 18-4, something like that, you can put the game away and then just kind of hold on. So that's what they've been doing. So I don't know. Like, I'm not worried about their non-competitive games being a problem in March. I'm more worried about something happening as far as either they get in foul trouble, but I think they're kind of deep too. Like I, as far as just in general, Duke has a lot of check marks covered where I'm not as worried about them getting to the Sweet 16 and running into, a Syracuse zone or somebody that just bombs threes and shoots over them and, can beat them. I mean, Duke looks like a Final Four team right now.
And Cooper Flag's a killer. Like they've got a killer.
No doubt.
They got a guy that when you have to have a bucket in a crucial moment, you just give him the ball and get it out of the way. And he wants it. He wants the moment. He's seeking the spotlight. He's a damn good player. St. John's wrapped up their first Big East regular season title over the weekend. White out at the Garden, white suit for Rick Pitino. First one since 1985 for the Johnnies. And Pitino becomes the first head coach ever to win a regular season championship at 5 different schools. Like, that's stupid, Dave. 5 different schools he's won the conference championship in the regular season.
And he coached the Celtics in between.
Yeah, whoops.
Just, it didn't really work out, but
didn't work. It was awful.
That. Yeah, and he's still doing it. Multiple generations, multiple different conferences, different opportunities. Guy's tremendous. And the white suit is even better. I love the white suit. I thought that was cool. I really think St. John's. I watched a lot of that game in my room at the Hard Rock with the sound. Seton Hall hung around for a while and gave them a game. St. John's is going to be a tough out. St. John's is going to be a tough out, not just in the Big East. I'm talking in general. Like, they got some trees inside. Like and they're physical as hell. And he's pushing them, right? He's pushing them. So I don't know. I really, really like St. John's.
Yeah, they are a team that you do not want to play. Just like I think Michigan State and St. John's are in the same boat. They're teams you don't want to play because of the style of play that they'll bring, and the head coaching pedigree is off the charts. Talking about 2 legends that know exactly how to get their team ready to go and exactly how to game plan in tournament settings for quick turns. When they play Thursday and then Saturday, they can have a very good game plan ready to go for who they're going to play the very next game. And they understand college basketball at such an incredible level. I mean, look out for Izzo and look out for Pitino. Like, both those guys are going to have their teams really, really ready to go come the NCAA tournament.
Izzo's getting them fired up too. Like, that was over the weekend and all this
Michigan's
stuff.
lost yesterday.
Baby. Yeah.
It's theirs. They play Michigan next weekend. It's right there. Michigan State for the Spartans, winning the regular season, securing that 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and then really being a problem in the NCAA tournament for Michigan State. I don't think anybody wants to play Michigan State right now.
No, it's happening again, boys and girls. The Michigan State Big Ten thing is real. I don't know. Like, it's expanding. I can't say you would have said this even 6 weeks ago, right? You legit thought Michigan State can get to the Final Four. And again, that's my spot. Like where you get to the Final Four, you got 2 games left. Anything can happen. Plays a game in a gigantic dome and all that other stuff. So right now, I'm looking at teams, and have been for a month. Can you get to the Final Four? Can you win 4 games, 2 in one place, take a break, 2 in another place, and then we'll figure the rest out? These prices are all over the place. I think Michigan State's got to be added as a real threat and possibility to get to San Antonio.
January, February, Izzo. It's just what it is. The guy just in March. Tom Izzo in February and March. The guy is unfreaking believable. You made mention of this earlier in the show, but on Thursday, the West Coast Conference tournament starts here in Las Vegas. Gonzaga has lost back-to-back games to St. Mary's, both home and away this year. The Zags are the 2 seed, but Dave, they're favored. The Zags are favored to win. Do you buy into the adage, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season?
Not buying that crap at all. I watched the game in Gonzaga, and St. Mary's is not afraid of them at all, and has ways to get open looks that it was really strange because usually few makes those adjustments. They kept doing it even into the second half. And then every time the Zags made a run, St. Mary's looked so calm. And on the road, that game, I put that one in the files and said, boy, when they play here, because when they play here, that building might as well be at Gonzaga. It is. It's Spokane. It's unbelievable. I mean,
the whole bracket is built for Gonzaga. The whole bracket is built for the Zags. It's not built for St. Mary's. There's benefiting from it.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested to see. That's a neutral. I'll be interested to see what the line is on a game. Is there a question in your mind that they're playing? I mean, that's the championship, right? Nobody's upsetting them in the semis.
No, I mean, they play one game. Yeah, and they don't play till, I mean, it starts Thursday. They could play somebody on Monday that's played Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like they could play somebody who's played 4 games. They'll probably not because the bad teams get bounced, but it's a quadruple bye. Like they go through the entire thing. It's dumb, but no. I mean, I'm if you could find St. Mary's at plus money, I'd bet St. Mary's right now to win the tournament. Like it's not going to be come Monday.
The game should be pick 'em when they play on Tuesday, right? I mean, it should be pick 'em. I would argue you'd be St. Mary's -2. But it probably won't be. It'll probably be pick 'em or Zags -1 here in Vegas.
So let me see. So when they played the first time, the number was let's see. Gonzaga was
4
against St. Mary's. The first time where's that? It was 2.5. Gonzaga was favored at home by 2.5, and on the road they were it was 7. They were favored by 7. And they lost both games. So, I mean, I'm sorry. First game was at St. Mary's. Second game was at Gonzaga. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Right. Sorry. So it was 2.5. Gonzaga was favored by 7 at home and lost by 7. Like St. Mary's is the better team. And everyone says it's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's actually not true. In college basketball, traditionally, it's 65 to 70% of the time. The team that won the first 2 games wins the 3rd game. So it's not that uncommon for it to happen.
Barring any injuries or transfers or suspensions or something like that. What is the change? I mean, that was literally a week ago. I think they played. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah,
so
fair.
Venue, maybe, but no, I like I'm telling you that St. Mary's was literally taking the game to them on their home court. Complete control of pace and just ability to get open looks. I was really impressed.
So you are down in Florida for your daughter's, I mean, it's not spring training, but it's softball. They're down there to play softball games. Yep. So let's talk baseball because you're obviously going to be around baseball and softball for a while.
Yep.
What was your take? Did you see this, that President Trump announced that Pete Rose will pardon, the Trump will pardon Pete Rose most likely for his tax evasion?
I have no idea what this guy's doing. I have no idea what he's doing. Really? I mean, just to pick this now, Like if they're going to let him in, they could have done it while he was alive, but now he's going to
okay. So
this
it goes,
to go.
It goes
okay,
hand in hand, right? So it's one part like Trump pardoning Rose like for his tax evasion because no one knows what he's going to pardon him for. He did serve 5 months in jail for tax evasion, so they think, okay, we're going to pardon Pete Rose. That's fine. You can pardon Pete Rose. It's got nothing to do with the Hall of Fame. Rob Manfred then announced in the wake of that over the weekend. So on Friday, Trump said, I'm going to pardon Pete Rose. Everyone's like, okay, fine, whatever. Saturday, Pete Rose, his people come in. Uh-oh, did we lose Dave? Uh-oh, the Pete Rose people got angry at us. The baseball people got angry at us. Did Dave crash or did Dave get a call? It happened when we were talking before the show. This happened. And Dave came back within like 30 seconds. Dave came back. So hopefully we'll be able to get Dave back on here. Oh, that flash, that means he's gone or he's going to come back? Well, I'll talk about this until Dave comes back. So, and hopefully we'll get Dave back here in just 1 second. So Pete Rose, the family has petitioned Rob Manfred from MLB to, oh, I hear you. Are we back?
How about now?
Oh, you're back.
Can you see me now?
I can see you now. I can hear you now too.
Perfect. We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Hold on. You're frozen. Now you're back. Okay.
All right.
So Manfred is going to review a petition from the Rose family to reinstate Charlie Hustle so he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. We talked about this when he died. We said if Major League Baseball tries to put him in the Hall of Fame after he's dead, it's going to be horrible. Will they do it? Are they going to put him in?
I don't know. There's more stories behind the scenes that, probably would warrant him not getting in.
Right.
I don't know what's true and what's not. So I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're going to do. It just, again, it's a really crowning achievement in life to be inducted into a Hall of Fame. I've had uncles that got into like the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, and I know friends that are in different cities. And who knew that like Kincaid is in multiple Hall of Fames and stuff? Like, it means more when you're alive and you can say, thank you for putting me in the Hall of Fame, and you can actually take someone there and see it. I don't know what baseball is going to do. I have no idea. But I saw it over the weekend and I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Here's my problem.
The meeting with that guy from the Ukraine might have been more important than this. I'm just a little. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Here's my problem. This is just a quick Google search. These are the things that are in the Hall of Fame from Pete Rose. You can't say Pete Rose is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame because he is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. His bats from his 3,000 and 4,000 hit is in the Hall of Fame. The helmet he wore when he broke Ty Cobb's record for hits is in the Hall of Fame. Tons of stuff from the Big Red Machine in the 70s from the Reds is in the Hall of Fame. He has signed 4,256 baseballs for the Hall of Fame, each one for the hits that he has had. He's got the owner's name appearing on his hit list on the Hall of Fame. His trophies for the 1963 Rookie of the Year, the 73 MVP, the 75 World Series MVP are all in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So my problem with this conversation is people saying that Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame for what it matters. He is, whenever you play the game, whether it be A-Rod, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, whoever you want to talk about cheaters in baseball, their stuff's in the museum. It's a museum of baseball. And so they have the stuff that happened on the field. It's the plaque we're talking about. It's the moment in the sun where you get to stand up there and thank your Little League coach and your high school baseball coach and your dad and your mom for helping you become the player that you became, which is called a Baseball Hall of Famer. That's what they want. You didn't put him in when he was alive. Don't you dare put him in when he's dead. Like, don't you dare put him in when he's dead. If you're going to put him in, you should have put him in when he was alive so he could have that moment, because that's what he wanted. He wanted that moment.
Well, and again, maybe that's why they didn't, and then they could say they covered their ass and they did put him in. Who knows? I don't know. It's hard to say you can't put him in because of the gambling. That's the thing. Like now, do you wait until you go to Wrigley Field and we were in the book at Wrigley Field. Pretty nice book right there. I was in the book at Cincinnati at their ballpark, which is now closed. Right. There's other, they they put books in a lot of these places, and there's things going on in sports. So now that argument doesn't really do, I don't think, the justice that it did back in the day. Now, again, there's guys that are like, well, he bet on his own sport, he bet on his own team. This is a problem. It was a real problem. And again, he violated the rules. That thing is up in every clubhouse. It's still there. It is still there. You can't gamble on a sport. Okay. Well, now you're going to put him in. It's just a different, it's a weird argument.
It's tough. It's hard for baseball to talk out of both sides of their mouths. But if you're going to put a guy like Pete Rose in, Shoeless Joe Jackson needs to be in before Pete Rose. I mean, Shoeless Joe batted .375 in the World Series, had 12 hits in the World Series up to 1941. That was the record for the most hits ever in a World Series. You can't say Shoeless Joe threw the World Series with the way that he played. He took the money. He got suspended for taking the money from the gamblers, but he didn't throw the World Series. The Black Sox scandal got him caught up in it because he took a paycheck, but the numbers would say otherwise, that Shoeless Joe threw the World Series for the White Sox. So, like, to me, I want Shoeless Joe in before I want Pete Rose in. And so you got to put them all in now. Anybody who's involved in gambling needs to be put in the Baseball Hall of Fame that is warranted to do so. So we'll see how that
it's that time of year where we're having those conversations. But again, it's their rules. It's their Hall of Fame. It's going to be whatever they want. And we'll go from there. Right. I'm just happy. Like, I mean, I went to a spring training game on Friday. I've never been to the Pirates spring training. It was awesome. I got a buddy, made sure that I had the perfect experience. It was great. All this stuff that's going on. I've only been, it's been years since I've been down in Florida for spring training. I would go to Arizona every year. This is cool. Just everything's really far apart, P-Roll. Everything's far. Like in Arizona, everything's like literally a 45-minute drive or less to multiple venues. You can see 2 games in one day. It's a little more difficult here in Florida.
Well, we're just hoping that we're going to see baseball because after December 1st of 26, the MLB Players Union expects lockouts to come down. That we're going to play baseball this year and then play baseball next year, and then there will be a work stoppage. If we're talking about this today, 2 years out, Dave, does that give you hope that these two sides could figure it out?
I don't know. No. I really – well, no. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the lockout in 94 and how it just halted everything. Like, I don't know. There's such a disparity between teams and money and guys and where they're going to play and the way that the good teams are able to keep doing it in the way that teams, we know who they are, don't do it. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, if there's one particular answer, but I mean, the stories about the networks, there's a big story today about the Nationals either fixed their problem or just alleviated the problem. They got control of their network back. Okay. Does that mean that the Nationals are going to spend money or they're going to try to invest? I don't know what it means, but are you encouraged? I right now, I would make the lockout a favor.
100%. Yes. All the deferred money, all of the fact that so many of these teams, I mean, if the Dodgers win the next 2 World Series, we're locking out for sure. Like 100%. So
you think it's results based?
I think it's spending based. It's the teams are, in order to compete, the amount of money you're going to have to spend to compete. The owners want some level of a salary cap, that they want some level of control over spending, so they're not having to contend with the Dodgers, the Yankees, the teams that are going to spend. I mean, the Mets signed a guy for nearly $1 billion. One player, $1 billion. Like, it's just. These teams in smaller markets, the Rays can't compete with that. They have no shot. Diamondbacks don't want to compete with that. They have no shot. So
I don't know if you have to compete with that to win. I think you have to compete with that to get somebody. But I think you can make directed purchases, sales. I don't know The agents driving up the prices isn't the answer. The owners keeping the prices down isn't the answer. We need more baseball on TV for people to watch and see.
ESPN just walked.
And that's what I mean. And the rights fees, I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. They offered $200 million as opposed to $550 million. I'd like to know, and we always talk about move the number. Where do you get the number? Who's responsible for that number? You just made a number up and paid $550 and went, you know what? We really didn't like the coverage. We want to be on, but we're going to only pay you $200. That's a big over 50% discount.
Cut.
What is this stuff worth? I don't know.
And I'm not sure they do either. I mean, I think the Netflix and Amazon and Apple TV, for that matter, those coming in and being a part of this has been a big problem, because I think baseball, I think football, for that matter too, the NFL, I think all the sports leagues are a little bit drunk with the idea that they're going to get they're going to be able to overcharge for their product, and these platforms are going to pay for it. That these platforms are just going to pay them for what they have. And I'm not sure that really works. I'm not sure that helps the consumer. And I'm not sure if it goes long term, because if these platforms go belly up, or if they can't afford to pay, now you're in trouble, because you had a stable home in ESPN. And we saw what happened when the NHL left ESPN. They went into basically being irrelevant, and they came back to ESPN because of that reason. So I don't like that baseball is being on less on ESPN. I want baseball on more on ESPN, but the two sides obviously didn't get the deal done, and they walked. And a big reason why is this guy. Back for another year of Otani watch, who decides to step to the plate against the Angels. One at bat, his former team, opposite shot, gone. Otani picking up right where he left off.
Starting to believe that there's nothing he can't do.
Right.
I'm really starting to wonder, like, how long as a baseball person are we going to be able to really just revel and enjoy and marvel at what he does? Like, yeah, no problem. And he's playing pranks on Dave Roberts, and Dave Roberts is playing pranks on him. He stuffed his car with all those little balls, and the dog opened up the car. There's balls everywhere for the dog. I love it, because he seems like a regular dude who just can hit home runs whenever he wants. I still can't believe he's going to pitch. We talked about it. I was with the guys at the Pirate game, and we were just like, this guy is going to actually pitch too on top of all this? And it was a good debate where, yeah, we want to see him pitch maybe as fans, but like was with the, upper level executives and talking, and like, not sure we need him to pitch. Well, we have guys that don't pitch. Like, just do what he does. I don't know, P-Roll. It's fun. It's fun.
It's dumb. There's a prop bet here in Vegas. Will the Dodgers have the most wins in the regular season? Yes or no? In Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Would you bet
what are
yes?
they, minus 150?
20.
Minus 200?
No, sorry, 220. Minus 220.
Yeah, minus 200. That's probably a better price, yeah.
Yeah, minus 220 for them to do it.
When you look at their season wins, it's 103.5 or 104.5. The next team is 93.5, I think. Last time I looked, it was in a like, it's 10 wins apart.
Well, they had 98
so the Dodgers
last
don't even
year.
Have to win.
With all those injuries to their pitchers, they had 98 last year. So don't they just fall into 7 more wins?
Which was the most, right? Did
Yes.
they win? No, they didn't win the most. They did win the most games?
Yes,
Yeah.
98 was the most.
Okay,
yes.
they had the 1 seed. All right. Well, I don't think anybody in the National League does it more than them. It might be an American League team. Could somebody in the American League win more games because they're playing lesser competition?
Oh, I mean, no. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I don't see. I was looking at it last night. I don't see a 100-win team in the American League. I don't think we have a team that wins 100 in the American League.
With the National League East being as hard as it is, I don't see a team winning 100 games there. In the National League Central, there's not a team winning 100 games. You'd be lucky to have a team. 90 might win that division.
Right.
Legit might win that division.
Could be the Reds.
So, I mean, is it Padres or D-backs?
So that's what I mean.
Would be the only other possibility.
Juice, but I think it's a good bet. I think I think you can lay the juice with the Dodgers to win the most because they have so many redundancies where even if they get ravaged by injuries again, they've got guys who can pick up the slack.
They're going to be fine. Yeah, they're going to be fine.
I mean, they have so many Conforto type, Mookie Betts type, Enrique Hernandez, like Kike Hernandez types. Like they get guys who can play like second, third, short, outfield. Like if they got to move them around, they have such few players that are just fixed at their position. Like Freddie Freeman is a first baseman. Okay, he is their first baseman. But like everybody else can play anywhere else. They can move them all around. And it's kind of nuts how of the luxury roster that Dave Roberts has that I think they can overcome any injuries, even in the pitching staff. I mean, they got 7 starters, legitimate. And that's without Otani.
Mookie's playing second base, right?
Yeah,
that's where he's going to play the majority of the games.
Play outfield,
but he can play outfield when he needs a break.
So
it's incredible.
Kike can play.
I think that's a winner.
Can play second base. Conforto can play second base. The kid that they signed that was from last year can play second base. I mean, there's so many shortstop, second options for the Dodgers in terms of where they are. And by the way, Otani can pitch. If you need him to pitch, he can come out of the bullpen or start for you. Like what? It's ridiculous. Rincon asks a great question because this got brought up at the combine. Travis Hunter was asked about what he's doing versus what Otani is doing. And Hunter said it's harder to play football as an offensive and defensive player than it is baseball as an offensive and defensive player. Agree?
Ooh. I don't know. I still think hitting a baseball, and now I literally sat in the first row at the baseball game, and every guy was throwing 95, and I was watching it and going, how do they hit this? I mean, I turned to my buddies. I'm like, how do they hit this and consistently make contact? Hitting a baseball is so hard. Then pitching the way he pitches is even harder to have that upper level ability and consistency. Playing football is really hard, and it's very physical. And never taking a break, playing both sides, very, very difficult. But there's a lot of plays where you're not doing anything, right? Like, on running plays when he's covering the outside guy, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I think
I'm not lessening what he does, P-Roll, but I don't think it's I would vote the baseball, but
so would I.
You?
I'd vote baseball because both of them are start-stop sports, right? So it's not like he's running 5 miles, Hunter, in terms of he's obviously playing an incredible number of snaps. And so he didn't say, I'm a better athlete than Otani, because I would say he is a better athlete than Otani. He said it's more difficult to do what I'm doing than what Otani is doing. So that word is why I would disagree with him. If you want to say, Travis Hunter, you're an insane athlete, you're an Olympic caliber athlete, like where you are in the pantheon of incredible people walking the earth, I would agree with you. But hitting a baseball that's going 100 miles an hour, stealing bases the way he's stealing bases, and then, by the way, getting on the mound and throwing 100 and striking out the best hitters in the world and doing both at an elite level, I agree with Ted Williams. The hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a round ball with a round bat going 100 miles an hour. So, to me, it's
hit over 300, by the way. It was like, it's not like he's hitting 220 and he's on the team. He hit 50 home runs. He stole 50 bases. So I vote baseball.
Yeah, I vote baseball as well. The most typical LeBron James thing happened last night. LeBron James needed 18 points to become the first player to score 50,000. His prop bet was set at 23.5 last night. LeBron scored 17. He now has 49,999 points. They play on Tuesday. So now he's going to score at home, Dave, and they're going to stop the damn game. He could have scored at the end of the game last night against the Clippers and just ended this whole thing. But instead, he'll have his moment in the sun against the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday, I believe, who they're playing. Typical LeBron.
It worked out that way. I mean, they were playing in LA, it could have been done last night with a game
he's in LA
against the
Tuesday.
Clippers.
It's a 5-game homestand.
Yeah,
so he's going to do it at home. He's always going to do it at home.
It's going to work out. Nobody's ever done it, right? 50,000 points. It's beyond
ridiculous.
impressive. Listen, the Lakers are
Legit.
impressive. Best team in basketball.
And
Luka
left the game. Luka left the game with a right thigh injury and came back. Everybody had their hearts in their throats from Laker fans. They thought he was seriously hurt, and he came back in and he played and scored. Went over on his prop. He scored 29. His prop was 28.5. So even with that problem, Luka still went over his points prop last night, scoring 28.
I can see why they get dismissed or just kind of glossed over being in the East Coast now for 4 days, 5 days, however long I've been here with this time zone. I mean, it sucks. It stinks watching the West Coast stuff on the East Coast time. I mean, if you got nothing to do and you stay up, but then you fall asleep, you miss this, you miss that, and I don't know, the people that are doing morning shows all over, God bless you in the East Coast. You're not watching these games.
No.
Don't say you are.
No.
You're watching highlights or you're reading box scores, which is fine. But I watched that game last night, and I went, here we go again. Lakers, I don't want to say are winning the West, but they are going to be in the Western Conference Finals as of right now.
I agree that they're going to be a problem. This story came out while we were off, but it's worth bringing up here. The $2 billion ESPN Bet deal with Penn National is in serious trouble. ESPN and Penn signed the deal, but on their call on Friday, they admitted that they have a lower market share than what Barstool Sports had when they were Barstool, and now they are ESPN Bet. Is Penn going to walk from this deal? Because it sure feels like Penn's walking from this deal in 26.
I'll be surprised if they don't at this point. But go back. All our old shows are on there. We had a short that our man Will put together back in the day talking about Disney getting into the betting business.
Right.
And going, wait, what? They're doing what? Are they not paying any attention to what's happening? It's a hard business. And getting that market share was never going to happen. And now that they realize it's not going to happen, I would think they're going to opt out. I really, really do. Which, again, we've got friends that are doing content and in the business and all this other stuff. If they haven't done it by now,
right,
when companies were spending money and looking to get involved in this, what's going to happen now that all that stuff is dried up?
I don't know where, in my mind, I don't know where Penn thought that this was going to be different because they overvalued what ESPN's branding was. We talked about ESPN The Zone. We talked about ESPN The Magazine. We've talked about all the things that ESPN has put their branding on.
The phone.
The phone. People watch ESPN to watch ESPN. They don't care about anything else around it. They watch the games.
Watch the games. That's
it. And they're okay with going and being a part of that and having it. But the whole idea that Penn was going to white label it and say, okay, we're going to take our operating system, we're going to take our prices, slap ESPN on it, and people are going to run to bet with us was crazy. Like, was never going to happen. And then they tried the Stephen A list, and they've tried all these different things where, okay, let's figure out how we can do, some type of gambling prop or gambling incentive for the audience to come on board. And the folks did it for like a day and we're like, this is losing constantly. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I betting here? Why am I this doesn't make any sense. So it's not it's a dead man walking.
It's not good. And I think we saw companies, friends of mine, expand and go into all these states and pay all these fees and do all this stuff, and then realize, you know what? We got to get back to what works, our core business. Let's focus on one state, like here in Nevada. For some other companies, they're focusing on they're either picking like Arizona, like Prime and Bet Chris and stuff. Now that's their focus. Alex is, in a couple different places with Sport Trade, but you have to focus on the core business. You've heard me say it. If you've listened to the show or watched the show, and again, thank you for all of you that have over the course of all this time. I just need to know who's taking the bets. If you're a marketing company, be a marketing company. But if you pretended to be a sports betting company where you wanted to take bets and you're not taking bets and you're not figuring out ways to take more bets because it's a volume business, you're DOA. No matter what the label says, the white label, the brand name label, it's not working.
What do you make of, like, if the biggest brand in sports goes away, what does that signal to the market that even if you call a book ESPN, it's not going to work? Does that cause books to rethink what's going on? Do you think there's going to be more contraction in the wake of it if it does happen? If people say, well, look, if Penn National can't do it, we can't do it either.
It's been the word go for a lot of people from the beginning. Nobody wanted to hear it. Everybody had money. Everybody had marketing budgets. Everybody had visions of grandeur.
Right.
How many times have I told you off the air, this business sucks? It's a small margin business. Business is really hard. And there's guys doing it on the other side of the counter that will take your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and not even pick up the check. They will take everything you can that you have and pretend like it didn't even happen. So knowing that exists, that's the business you're in. You either get people that are going to be in that business, or you don't know how to combat it. You choose not to, and then you stop taking bets. When you're limiting people that are betting $20 a game because they did something right as far as whatever your algorithm or your trader thought or something, you can't make it. So the goal of a sports book is to take bets. Let's build volume. Let's figure out how to get on the right side more than the wrong side. Now that requires people inside to know what they're doing. It's not a minimum wage job. They treated it like a minimum wage job. They put more into the marketing, more into the commercials.
Right.
And stuff. And one thing is very similar, like between the poker community and the sports betting community. You can't fool them. You cannot fool them. It's disingenuous if you start splashing messages and stuff because the VP of marketing thinks it's a good idea. It's not. No one else does. And now we're seeing the pushback.
It's interesting to watch all of this from Las Vegas. It's really, I think when I go back east and I look at the way like New Hampshire is doing it, or the way that Massachusetts is doing it, or now you're in Florida, which is a little different, but you look at these different states that have all gone legal, and then you come back to Vegas, and I'm always struck by, how did all these companies survive? Like, how did all these companies, because like people are people, right? Like when you have a large population base, your idea is trying to get a human being to do something they're doing anyway. So why are you failing at the ability to attract people to come and use your product? And I keep on asking, like, why, if I ran a book in Massachusetts, I would be in Vegas asking all types of questions about, like, okay, what worked historically? When this began, how did you build this? What am I doing wrong? How can I grow? How can I do this in the right way? And I feel like everyone was such this rush to make money. Like they thought the gold rush was here and that we were going to just jump into a vat of money and it was going to be easy. And it's not. And you figure Penn, which is a pretty smart company, which has brick and mortar, doesn't even have an ESPN Bet here in Las Vegas. Like, they don't even have a property, their own property that they own here in Vegas. They did not convert to an ESPN Bet book. That to me said all I needed to know about what they thought this deal was going to look like.
And again, started at the M with Cantor Gaming. It became a Penn property. And we were there. We had established an unbelievable business. And the guy that was at the top of that, Howard Lutnick, is now holding a very high position in the cabinet. It's bizarre that I think about 15 years ago, Howard Lutnick and I had a very frank conversation about this business. And now I see him on TV and I'm like, wow, I don't even know what to say. My wife doesn't believe me. She's like, you had a meeting with that guy? I'm like, yeah, it was pretty interesting. She's like, what'd you say? And I'm like, never mind what I said. Don't worry about it. But we were there and had established that we were the place to be. Take bets, hang out in Vegas. And when Penn bought it, it stopped. And it became very apparent to me that they were not in the betting business. They were in the casino business, which, listen, you set out these machines, you set the setting on what they hold, and it's done. You deal the cards at the blackjack table and at the let it ride table. You let them throw the dice at the dice table. The odds are all fixed. Like, there's swings, but sports betting is very, very different. And they, in a lot of ways, they made you not want to be there from a customer standpoint. They didn't chase people, but they made you not want to be a part of it, which then when the help or the employees of a company don't believe in what they're doing anymore, any walk of life, and especially in a customer service oriented business, it gets pushed back onto the customer and everything starts to crumble. And I think that's what we're seeing happen in real time. It was a bad house of cards at the beginning, and now it's going, wow, they've lost more money. How did they agree to do this? They rebranded the books that were Barstool books to ESPN books. I was at one in Ohio last summer before it became ESPN Bet. I'm hopefully going to go see Brother Doug and do something Columbus this summer. What are they going to make that next summer after they, are no longer an ESPN book? What are they going to? Who's going to want it?
Right. No, it's very true, and I think also just Circa has kind of taken that mantra now here in Las Vegas as a place that people want to come and bet and play. But did you see what our friend David Hill, the video he put out over the weekend, the 30-minute? You guys haven't watched it.
I sent him a text. Yeah, I sent him a text.
It's so good, and it's such an interesting look at same game parlays, about what the human mind has been conditioned to do, why we loved lotteries. What if you don't take bets, if you don't let people play, you're not going to make any money. You have to be willing to lose. Just like the gambler has to be willing to lose their money, the book equally has to be willing to lose their money. And so often these books, like you've mentioned, they're not in it to actually take risk. They're in it to be able to take profit. And that's not how it works. That's why you have to have, when in December, when all the parlays hit, because all the favorites won in the NFL, you have a bad month. You had a bad month. You have to go to the world and say, hey, we had a bad month. It's not good, but there's a reason why Vegas consistently wins month over month, because Vegas knows what it's doing. But Vegas will take bets. We'll take money. We'll let you play. We'll not look to, yes, it's happening here in Vegas too, unfortunately, but players getting limited is happening far more outside of Vegas consistently than it is inside of Vegas, because they want people to play here.
And Vegas, just because there's a game or an event or something doesn't mean you have to have lines on it and bet on it. We were very liberal in saying, we're not going to offer that. We're good. The menus are tighter here than they are in a lot of places, because a lot of it is still manned by human beings. It's not just auto-populated and auto-moving and auto. Now, does that make you able to scale? Yes, but it's still required to be watched, and you have to know what you're looking at. There's a lot of people doing the job that don't even know what they're looking at. So Vegas will be able to maintain its hold on the business within Vegas. It's a real challenge to see, and I can't wait to get to Kentucky to see what Circa's done there and how they're putting their footprint in different places. Now, you you could have a red number. You
Right.
know, and for those of you that don't, a red number means you lost. It's not always green. You know, sometimes it's just a black number where it's a break even. There's months that happen like that. As long as you know that and you're not treating it like a line item on a quarterly report,
Right.
then I think you understand the business. There's a lot of people that, man, they just don't, one, they don't want to understand it. And two, they're scared of it. Schutz said it best in that Dave Hill thing. Ban or bankrupt. There's only two options that a lot of books have taken. We're going to ban you or we're going to bankrupt you. If you're going to trade the money back and forth for months, we don't want you because you may win, you know, and that's too much time, effort, and, you know, scared to do.
Yeah, it was a great line. That was like that was a stunning moment in that video when he said that. It's like, holy crap! Like, there's no in between. It's like, oh, you've won, or you're playing lines that you're playing first half totals. Sorry, you're out. You're sharp. What? Why? Well, you lost 5 in a row, but I'm losing. Doesn't matter. You're playing a market that only a sharp person would play. So you're out. Goodbye. Wait, what? Or we're going to take every dollar you have and we're going to give you all the VIP entries we can get. And we want to keep on having you, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 a month deposits. Keep it going. No one's going to ask you if you have a problem. No one's going to ask if we should shut you off. Just keep it on going. That's good.
No. And again, it's March is responsible gambling month. Okay. Right, so you're going to hear and see the messages all over. As you guys go in to log into your accounts, there's going to be pop-ups. We got a great email from Mr. John Dabalina. Thank you for that about, they're raising the tax rates in New Jersey. Doubling the tax rate. We agreed to the license fee. We agreed to this. We agreed to that. You said you were going to tax us at 10%. Now, I guess we're doing too good, or you need it more, but you're going to double it or 1.5 times it to 20 or 25%. Now I feel like the owners and the players in the baseball. I don't believe a thing you say because you changed all the rules. So now what? And it's going to lead to an impasse. Well, this responsible gaming thing, they hide behind, they talk about different things. You have to do the good and the bad. If you're going to limit, you got to keep it realistic with the people at the top that are blowing all the money. Just say it. You see what's happening overseas. They started instituting these checks, these affordability checks. People are going right back to the black market because they don't ask where the money came from and how much you have. Is it in there? Bet it. Go.
Yeah, I'm very much against the idea that income verification is moronic to me. It makes absolutely no sense why you're like, what, you have no business asking me which account. I gotta show you what, when, how. Like you've no right to know my annual salary. You know right where my money came from. No right to know who gave me what. That is way a step too far. That I really hope we don't get into it in America. But it feels like we're headed that way more often when it comes. It might
be in some states by next football season. Just telling you.
That's crazy. I do not approve or like that. I get what they're trying to do. If you really think it through, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. A quick bet or book. All right, quick bet or book. Just one game. I'm going to go into the Big Ten. I am red hot in NBA player props. I can't get a bet right in college basketball to save my life at the moment. I'm getting crushed. Northwestern catching 3.5 tonight against UCLA, though. UCLA just lost a game. They're on this double stretch to the middle part of the country in the Big Ten. I'll take the home dog here at plus 3.5. Better to book it.
And you just qualified it with you can't win a game, so I'm obviously going to say book it. I'm going to take UCLA. Have they won a game outside of the time zone, or are they only good in the Pacific? Like they're
really only good in the Pacific. They're not good when they leave the West. When they leave the West Coast, UCLA is not good.
Right. All right. Well, I'll say book it, and hopefully they win by 4.
Home dog. Northwestern needs it. Some books are at 4, 3.5 or 4 right now. So you look around and see where you find that number.
I got 2 games for you. I got 2 games for you. Quick hockey games.
Okay.
Islanders and Rangers tonight in New York. 5.5's the total. I'm going under. Bet it or book it.
I'd bet that. But aren't the Islanders getting ready to like blow it up? Aren't they mad?
Yes. And the lines only pick them, which I saw this morning and went, wow. Either I'm missing something. Maybe the Islanders have a good success against the Rangers. But I like the Rangers sidewise in the game. I like the total under more. The other hockey game is down the road here in Florida, not in Tampa, but it involves Tampa, the hottest hockey team in the league, against Florida.
Okay.
Watched the entire game with the Lightning against the Caps the other night, or the other day. It was during the day. I was eating lunch out by the pool watching the game. Tampa's a nice plus tonight. Very live dog. But the total, 5.5, under. Bet it or book it.
He first moved to the under, so I'd ride it with you on the under. On that, opened at 6, it's at 5.5. But by the way, Islanders Rangers is 6. You can find 6 all over the market right now.
Okay.
It's 6 in Circa, 6 at Superbook, it's 6 at South Point, 6 at Caesars.
Wow.
Offshore, every book is 6. So
okay. All right.
DraftKings is at 5.5, still heavily juiced to the over, but you can find 6s out there. So if you want to go bet that to the under, you'll be able to find 6s in the market. So that move is better for your under if you want to go ahead and jump on that. Favorite thing about today is what?
I'm in Florida. My daughters are playing softball together in college, and I'm going to follow them around the state and play. Tonight, they have a doubleheader in St. Petersburg, Florida. My dad was a catcher. My uncle was a pitcher in baseball. Tried out for the Pirates in 1961. I was a pitcher. Brother Dan was a catcher. We made it as far as high school together. That gave my dad and my uncle a real kick, like exciting to see it kind of reinvented. I'm having another deja vu moment seeing my daughters play softball together in college. Now, my dad and uncle went to the service. My brother and I went to college, and I morphed into playing hockey, and so did he. But this is going to be one of those dad moments that I am going to be so excited to just kind of soak in, take in. I don't know how many miles I'm putting on the car. At least it's unlimited mileage. But it's going to be a whirlwind week. So that my favorite thing about today is that in a few hours, I'm going to be watching the kids play softball. I don't have to give signals. I don't have to keep pitch count. I'm just going to sit there and watch the game.
But not this. I thought this was going to be your favorite thing about today.
That was my other favorite thing about today was meeting up in person with PB, Fran, and Jackie Friday night.
Hell of a picture.
So much,
look at the backdrop.
It was up here on the balcony. The sunset's up here. It was great. Meeting people, like, you get this local knowledge in other cities, and I really feel like this brigade thing is real, where people watch the show. Like, they're coming tonight. PB and his wife, Fran, are coming to the game tonight to meet Kendall and Jessica. Like, and see the girls. But, like, he's followed the show, watched the show long enough.
Wait, has PB met Kendall yet?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be awesome!
No.
Wow,
no, Kendall's the reason he said that PB got a hat. Remember, she picked the winner.
Cool. Yeah.
Out of the thing, and so so it's going to be really cool. They're coming to the game. I think a couple other people might be coming. We'll see, but yeah. So we'll be here, and then we'll be on the east side of the state. We'll be in the central part of the state, driving all around. But meeting those guys in person, I mean, we turned it into a 4-hour affair. We hung out. We had dinner. We ended up talking. We were looking at plays. We were sharing the apps. I was showing him the apps that we have in Vegas versus what he has here, comparing lines. PB's killing it in tennis. He's figured out something in tennis. I don't want to give it away right now, but this tennis thing he's figured out. He's I think, I don't want to jinx it. I think it was 19-4 was his record in tennis in his last 23 plays. Let's go. Pretty easily, like winning comfortably. So the lines are not right. Let's just put it that way. I'll tell you that.
How about that? So my favorite thing about today is that I'm starting to get jealous of people. So my daughter famously made it onto Boston television before I made it onto Boston television. The Patriots win the Super Bowl. You've been on MLB Network a ton, and now my student has been on MLB Network. Riley was on MLB Network this morning, talking about being the first female AAA play-by-play voice. So she makes her MLB Network debut. You're, I'm assuming, going to be back on MLB Network at some point in the very near future. You were on it last week or 2 weeks ago? You were back on?
Yeah, but 2 weeks ago, I was on for the Super Bowl. And then, yes, actually, the producers reached out this morning. So they saw me that I'm down here. So they're like, hey, you want to do a spring training report or two? And I'm like, yeah, let me know. So
yeah, you all suck.
We'll
all you guys suck. Riley, my daughter, all you suck. I'm jealous of all of you guys. You know, congratulations. So congrats to Riley for doing that. I'm really psyched for her. And I saw that this morning. I was like, what the hell? I was like, now she's on MLB Network. Everyone's on MLB Network. It's very, very cool stuff. So, all right, no show tomorrow, right? We're off tomorrow, right?
I think so, yes. If things change, I'll let you know later, and we'll put out a tweet that we'll be able to do a show tomorrow. I may get this same spot in the morning before I hit the road, so that could work. It might be a morning show.
All right, so we may be back tomorrow, but definitely Wednesday. We got a show for you guys coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So with Dave in Florida, we got a lot of those. Just keep in touch on the Discord channel. I'll let everybody know. TheBvBShow.com for updates as to what the time the show will start and whether we're doing the show or not. But if no show tomorrow, we'll be back on a Wednesday. Good luck to the girls. Enjoy the game. Should be a lot of fun. Weather looks perfect. Hopefully you guys get a couple of W's for Felician here today in D2 softball. I'm sure everyone's going to want an update, so tweet it out to how they're doing. Let's see how they play. Hopefully both they play as well. We're back tomorrow, maybe Wednesday for sure on the replay crew. Everybody, you get the same show all locked up. Will, clean show. No worries at all. He is Dave. I'm Matt. We're back later, either tomorrow or Wednesday for BvB.